All right, guys. I wanted to talk real quick before my next patient gets here. Let me turn this music off. I wanted to talk about sprained ankles. And there's lots of things that we could potentially discuss here, but I want to talk about shoes. We won't get into the whole barefoot versus traditional sneakers and the pros and cons and all that. That would be a great subject for another video. But this does have to do with footwear, and specifically the lever arm that the footwear creates. So to explain this, let's just say that you happen to have a sprained wrist and you needed to, let's say, cook. You're a chef. You have no choice, you have to cook. If I want to let this wrist heal, what would be easier? A pot with a short handle and a short lever arm, or a pot with a big long handle that you had to hold, right? That's going to put a lot of stress on the muscles that stabilize the wrists and on the little ligaments that hold the bones together that you have sprained, right? So if you're trying to let that sprained wrist heal, you should surely choose to use that pot or pan with a short handle, if that's an option. So if we take that analogy now and we move it down to the foot, if you have a traditional sneaker that's got like these, some of them are several inches. They're built up to have this cushion that looks really cool. Like, oh, it's going to be better for my knees and my back and stuff. What it's doing, whether or not it cushions and provides some protection up the chain, another subject, another video. We're specifically talking about sprained ankles. I would highly suggest that you get out of those kind of sneakers and into something that has that's a more minimalist shoe with a smaller lever arm. Take all the other things about minimalist shoes away from this conversation right now. We're just specifically talking about sprained ankles. So if you have shoes like I'm wearing, there's a little tiny lever arm, this little tiny thing. So if I go like this, it's a very small lever that's producing force on these muscles and on these little ligaments, specifically the ATFL is the anterior talofibular ligament that we most commonly sprain when you roll your ankle over, versus if you have a shoe with a big sole, all it takes is a little bit of little wobble like that, and you have this long lever arm and a lot of force that's put into those ligaments that are trying to heal. So if you find yourself with an ankle sprain that just doesn't seem to be getting much better, or you keep re-injuring it, I would highly suggest trying some more minimalist shoes. Get out of the big honkin' soles. Do yourself a favor. So how do lever arms work in terms of helping you recover from ankle sprains? Now you know.